let's begin! This game is a puzzle platformer where you must roll squishies to a teleporter that sends them home. Instead of having direct control of their movement, you must use air from fish to push and pull them around the environment. Although the controls at first can be a bit confusing, due to pointing both the fish at different angles and then remembering which button pushes and pulls on each one, it doesn't take too long to get used to it, and by the end of the first world, I was moving the squishies around with so much ease that it really did become second nature. This really is thanks to the controls being perfect. A little tap will roll them slightly, and a blast from both fish at once will force them forward with more power and speed, which is very useful for climbing uphill slopes. This uphill push is required a lot in the levels, so the game does require 2 move controllers to play. To move your view around the world, you simply click and drag. You can also do a pinching like motion with both the fish, and the world resizes all around you. Once again, these controls are perfect, and you will be whizzing around the level for a better view in no time at all. Zooming in looks amazing, especially as the textures do not lose any quality at all. Even the sky texture in the background is very sharp and crisp. It really is so more immersive being zoomed right into the world, but from a gameplay side, it's so much easier to move the squishies around from a bird's eye position. You won't have to move your own position in the world around as much, which makes guiding the squishies a quicker process. Although it is easier to play from up high, I simply had to keep zooming back in now and then because of how good everything looks. During all this zooming in and out, if you do lose track of a squishy, you can zoom out of the world and an icon will be displayed, which makes him easier to find again. It is a great help, especially in some of the more intricate level layouts. The game has 100 levels in total spread across 5 different worlds, and as you would expect, each world gradually gets harder. There isn't a real penalty for losing a life. If a squishy falls off the edge of a platform or is killed in another way, after its comical demise, it will simply respawn at the last checkpoint you have rolled over. Having infinite lives is actually a good thing, as it allows for some much needed trial and error due to new gameplay elements appearing every 3 stages or so. I won't go into detail about how each single one plays, due to the sheer amount of them, but the most notable ones are buttons and switches which activate platforms or doors, and some power-ups actually affect the speed and handling of the squishies, such as the ice blocks that when rolled through will freeze that squishy, which enables them to float on water, and even be able to go up waterfalls. It may look hard to control their upwards movements, but it's really not. Once again, the controls in this game are amazing. You can also push them into a monster's mouth, which blasts them upwards, allowing them to glide gracefully through a level. Each time a squishy has one of these power-ups, their weight is affected, and it does feel very appropriate. Some stages require you to get more than one squishy to a teleporter. These levels really do make you think, as each squishy will need to help the other one out by pressing buttons they have access to. Sometimes it's not always clear what effect a button has had in the world, but a quick scan of the environment to see what's been activated isn't too much of a hassle. Your fish must also interact with parts of the world and can also use power-ups. Some levers can only be used by pushing and pulling them with the fish, and boats that allow squishies to safely move over water can only be moved by pushing and pulling their sails. The fish power-ups come in the form of elemental-like orbs. Sucking in lava allows you to blast out flames that burn a new path for your squishy to roll through. Both the water and fire powers can also be used to form platforms that briefly appear. There really is so much new interaction in the world needed from both the squishies and your fish that the game never really feels repetitive. The squishies actually have little animations on them. Their eyes and legs move, and the enemies' animations are also great. These enemies you usually have to dodge, as they will throw a squishy if one gets caught. They don't usually follow massive paths, so outsmarting them isn't too much of a problem. Even the fish are animated and get more bloated when you suck in water or fire. It's little details like these that make the world feel that much more alive. At the end of each level, you are shown a results screen that tells you how many times you died, how quickly you completed the level, and how many collectibles you found. The collectibles come in the form of crystals and a hidden egg. There is so many crystals to collect in each level that it can be quite overwhelming, especially as sometimes they are found on mini platform and puzzle courses that are off from the main route. if you're into collecting every single thing in the game, these will keep you very busy. The other collectible is a hidden egg. One appears in each stage, and once again, obtaining it often has some sort of obstacle to overcome. You will need to get every single collectible in the game if you're aiming for the game's platinum. This game does have quite a lot of trophies, but a lot of them will be rewarded for simple things, like simply beating each world, having a squishy killed in a new way for the first time, and there is a few that are related to the level editor, which we will look at next. The hardest trophies here are for getting all of the game's collectibles. Overall, it is a very good trophy list, and it's one that you will need to invest a lot of time in, especially as it took me 9.5 hours to beat 98 levels out of 100, and for most of that time, I wasn't even getting the game's collectibles. All of the 100 levels in the main game have been made using the level editor that comes with the game. The items you can use to build a level are unlocked as you progress through the main game. This is both good and bad. On the plus side, it gets you used to each gameplay mechanic and gives you an idea of how you could use them in a level for yourself. The negative side though, is that the game starts to get quite hard at the end of World 4. The fun unfortunately turns into frustration, and I'm not sure if everyone would see the game through to the end in these moments, which is a shame for players who would prefer to make levels rather than play them, as some creation objects would still need to be unlocked by playing these last levels. The actual level editor is amazing though. It's so simple to use, and you can build levels quite quickly, thanks to an area tool that allows you to place down many blocks at once. There are quite a few textured blocks you can use, and can even place down slopes. If used in the right way, you can certainly make some unique level designs. Removing blocks you don't want anymore is simply done by a press of a button, or if you made a mistake a while back, there is both an undo and redo button, which obviously is very useful. You can place enemies down and make paths for them to follow, and once again, it's incredibly simple to do. As long as you have unlocked it, everything in the main game can be used, like teleporters, water, lava, fish power-ups and squishy power-ups. Everything is here, and you really are limited only by your own imagination, although a few more texture blocks like wood or coloured blocks would have been appreciated. There is also a logic system here, which is quite similar to Little Big Planets. If you're used to that one, you will feel right at home here, but if you haven't, don't worry, it's easily learnable. All you do is place two objects down and then link them together. If you are lost on how to connect an object, there is a tip window that appears to your right. Not much is shown here, but there really doesn't need to be. You can also place both types of collectibles in the level. You do have to be a bit careful though, as there is a limit on what you can build. A thermometer guides you with this. Some objects raises the bar higher than others. These objects are mainly for more interactable things, so there is a bit of a learning curve when designing each level within its limits, but that doesn't mean you can't make massive places for squishies to explore. Once your level is finished, you can give it a title and then upload it online for others to play, but before you can do this, you must first complete your own level. This setup is the same as Mario Maker, and ensures that every level does have an ending. There is quite a nice community page layout where you can find other people's levels to play. You have a page for the levels that the developers have seen and have chosen for the spotlight. Newest levels also have a page, and even your friends' levels have their own page. You can also rate each level you have played, and the fastest completion time is saved. Achieving this will display your own PSN name on that level, which is sure to encourage replayability. You can even make your own avatar. It's quite basic due to only picking certain images, but it's a nice and welcome feature nonetheless. This is a very high quality game. I couldn't help but think that it had a certain Nintendo shine to it, due to how all the gameplay elements work with each other. I cannot stress enough how good everything looks. Each time I entered the game again, I honestly was surprised by the depth and overall texture quality. Zooming into a cave and then looking around really is amazing. On the surface, it may look like the game would get boring and repetitive, but it really doesn't thanks to the inclusion of so many gameplay elements. There is even a snake that you must raise out of its pot by using your voice through the PlayStation VR's microphone. The game really does constantly surprise you. Not everything is 100% perfect though, but it is certainly close. There are some frustrating difficulty spikes towards the end of the game, and the wall climbing ability can become annoying due to the squishy not always seeming to sit on the surface you want it to. But these really are only minor things compared to all the amazing things this game does right and has to offer. I absolutely love this game, so much so that I will be supporting it in the future. Every Sunday I will be uploading a video called The Sunday Squish, where I play community levels and try to beat the fastest times on a level. I will also be uploading a level that day that I've created during the week, so be sure to leave a comment under this video with the title of your own level, if you want it to be featured in this week's Sunday Squish. If you like these types of puzzle platformers, then this game is simply a must buy. It is one of the best on the PSVR, and the inclusion of a level editor ensures that we will always have something to go back to. I really can't wait to see what crazy levels are made. Overall, this game really is a brilliant package for the price. With all the new PSVR games coming out at the moment, don't overlook this one if you like the genre. It really is amazing, and I've been playing it all week and absolutely love it. It truly is one that I will return to time and time again. As always, please like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more PlayStation VR content. Sunday Squish.